Oops. All right, what do we got? Last lesson of Unit 7, I believe. We can solve equations, or Unit 4, Lesson 7. We can solve equations by multiplying fractions. So remember, when we multiply fractions and we're dividing, our keyword is multiply by the reciprocal, which we can remember by saying keep, change, flip. So I'm going to keep this first number the same. I'm going to change my division sign to multiplication, and then I'm going to flip my numerator and my denominator. And I know we've spent some time doing that already, but that was a quick review. So if we look at our first example, it says solve 5a equals 1/7. So I need to think, okay, my goal, my end result is to get a by itself. This says 5 multiplied by a. So if I need to do the opposite of 5 multiplied by a, I'm going to divide by 5 and divide by 5. So a equals 1/7 divided by 5 over 1. Now I need to use keep, change, flip, or multiplying by the reciprocal to flip-flop these two. So I'm going to rewrite it as 1/7 multiplied by 1/5. 1 times 1 is 1, 7 times 5 is 35. So a equals 1/35. Simplify before multiplying. Now, in this case, I see that I have a 4/5 multiplied by m. So to undo 4/5 multiplied by m, I'm going to divide by 4/5, and I'm going to divide by 4/5. And again, this works because when you do 4/5 divided by 4/5, you do keep, change, flip. 4 divided by 4 cancels out, 5 divided by 5 cancels out, you're just left with 1. So that's how we get m. And now I'm going to set this equation up first. So keep, change, flip. Remember, we want to look diagonally. So is there anything here or anything on the other diagonal that I see that I could potentially simplify? And I do see something. I see I have a 5 and a 10. So if I do 5 divided by 5, I get 1. If I do 10 divided by 5, I get 2. Now this says 9 times 1 over 2 times 4, which is going to give me 9/8. And when I turn that into a mixed number, I'm going to get 1 and 1/8. 9/8 is the same thing as 1 and 1/8. So again, when you see this word negative, you can think about the word opposite, because again, the opposite of a negative number is a positive. So a negative number is a positive. I like the word opposite rather than negative, but depending on where you come from or what your future math classes are, sometimes they will refer to it as like negative a, which equals a, instead of saying the opposite of negative a equals a. It's the same thing. So let's see here. In this case, again, what I have to do is this is a negative 14 over 25 multiplied by k. So I'm going to divide by negative 14 over 25. And just as like a little sidebar, negative 14 25ths divided by negative 14 25ths. Keep, change, flip. 25 divided by 25 cancels out. Negative 14 divided by negative 14. A negative divided by a negative is a positive. So I end up with positive 1. So we're jumping back into this equation. I have negative 14 over 25. Keep my first term the same. Multiply and then flip my numerator and my denominator. So again, real quick, before I go any further, I'm just gonna, wrong utensil. I'm going to multiply this one, or not multiply, I'm gonna look to see if there's anything I can simplify. So what do 15 and 25 have in common? They have a 5. So if I do 25 divided by 5, I get 5. 15 divided by 5 is 3. And I know that 8 and negative 14 have a factor of 2. So I'm going to divide by 2 and get 4. I'm going to divide by 2 and get negative 7. So if I rewrite this, it's going to say 4 times 5 all over 3 times negative 7. 4 times 5 is 20. 3 times negative 7 is negative 21. So K equals negative 20 over 21. Last example. So again, in this case, with a mixed number, I would probably just turn this into an improper fraction. So how do you do that? You take your whatever is in your denominator, you multiply it by the whole number, and you add the numerator. So 3 times 2 plus 1, 6 plus 1, this is going to equal 7. So I'm going to rewrite this as 7 over 2n equals 28. 7 over 2 times n. How do you do that? Again, you're going to divide by 2 or 7 over 2. And so when you do keep, change, flip, you're really going to end up multiplying it by 2 sevenths. So again, I can kind of take a little shortcut by just recognizing, hey, to undo this fraction, 2 divided by 2 cancels out. 7 divided by 7 cancels out. Anything I do on the left, I'm going to do on the right. And so now that I've got it set up, I'm going to look across and wonder if there's anything I can simplify, which in this case, I can simplify 28 and 7. 28 divided by 7 is 4. 7 divided by 7 is 1. So I'm left with 4 times 2 over 1 times 1, which is going to give me an answer of 8. If I wanted to check my work, I would say, okay, 7 over 2 times 8 equals 28, question mark. 7 times 2 is 56. 56 over 2 equals 28. And in fact, 28 equals 28. Yup, we did it correct. So that's how we can check our work.